Hello friends and welcome back. In this video I'm going to walk you through the process of how I take these logs over to the mill, load them up onto the mill, and get them ready for milling. What I need to do is wrap the strap around the log. This is just simply a tow strap. I guess it's like nylon or whatever, but these are meant for like pulling trucks and cars. This thing's got a rating of like 5,000 pounds, so it may end up being easier to get the beach log out because I can get under it. This one actually.
Whatever you start with, you should just use.
This beach log's going to be very spalted because it's been sitting for a while. So I need to put my hitch in here. This is how I kind of rig up for skidding logs with my truck. So I just use the ball hitch, tow strap up, and pull my logs. Alright, let's hop in. In order to get the strap off after you're done, you need to back the truck up a little bit to release the tension. Then you can get the strap off. And then to get it off the log, all I do is loop it through itself to wrap it around. And then so this way when you pull on the tow strap, it actually tightens the strap up. So you can see even here where there's really nothing keeping it from sliding off. The thing keeping it from sliding off is the actual tension of you pulling on it because it's tightening up as you're pulling. This works really good. So these are actually just some cutoffs from an oak log that I'm using for ramps to get the logs up onto the mill. And since they're fairly thick, they're also very strong, and they're oak, so they're going to last a lot better in the weather than, say, pine. And then you can see here what I did. I'm going to come in closer. What I did here with my chainsaw was just cut kind of a notch in it, and by doing that, what I can do is, if you watch this, you'll see I can actually just hook it up onto here and it won't move. So that's a pretty quick, simple, easy, cheap way to just make ramps to get the log up on here. So that ramp will stay, and it doesn't need to be anything fancy. The log just needs to be able to roll up and down this right here. So I got two of these, so I put one over on this side. Same thing, get that same notch in it. Now it's on there solid. Now we need to get the log over closer to the mill, and then I'm going to move my truck out of the way and then use the winch to get it up onto the mill. So first, we're going to use a cant hook. I'm just going to use this to get the log closer. I could. The largest log I can cut on this mill is 10 feet long. We got 10 feet right here. I'm going to cut a little bit. So I'm going to cut a little bit over 10 feet on this side. So this way I can cut a little bit off the other side too, so we have a nice fresh cut on both sides. Now in order to get the log up onto the mill, I need to hook my winch up to the back of my truck and then run the cable through the winch. So I have a setup. This is my trailer and winch setup. So I kind of custom made this, and I'll maybe do a video on that at some point. But this is the trailer I use for picking up logs. It's kind of a work in progress, but some point I'll do a video on that and show you kind of how I did this. I welded all this stuff myself and kind of came up with the design, but pretty simple basically. The way this winch is set up is I actually have a hitch receiver welded into the trailer frame, which is how I hook the winch up to the trailer. And the nice thing about that is it makes the winch a little bit more portable, so I can move it from the trailer to my truck. So I just take the pin out. So I basically have it welded to a hitch, so I can just slide it into the receiver on the truck. Alright, so now what we have to do is get the truck into position so we can run the hitch cable through the snatch block and then pull the log up onto the mill.
You see that log right there? He's trying to get that up on the mill.
Up to this tree.
That tree.
Alright, so what I have is a tow strap on the tree, so when I pull on it, it's not really hurting the tree because it's nice and soft, and so I don't have a chain kind of pulling into the tree. And then I hook a chain up to that tow strap, and then I hook a snatch block up to it. So what I'm doing is I get the winch on the back of my truck. As you can see, I just pulled it up. I run the winch cable over here, run the winch cable through this pulley on the snatch block. Hook the snatch block up to the chain, which is hooked up to the tow strap on the tree. Then I just use this larger like chain link with the screw on it to make it easy to put it on and off. And I always just kind of leave it hanging here because it's weatherproof. So then now I got the pulley, the winch cable on the pulley. You can see I got the winch cable going through the snatch block, and you can see the winch on the back of the truck. And I'm just pulling the cable, and you can see me over here pulling the cable over the mill. In order to get this log up onto the mill, it'd be easier if I could roll it. In order to do that, oh, look at that caterpillar thing.
Where?
It's probably the beginning of a butterfly. Alright. So you can see I wrapped see that?
Yeah.
Strap around the mill, the back side of it. I'm going to put this side of it under the log. And so in order to do that, I need to move the log a little bit. And I don't want to move it forward. I can't move it forward that easily because the ramps are here, so I'm going to just pull it back a little bit. Now I get the strap on the other side of the log. Okay, you can switch that switch back. So now I'm going to ask Emma to control the winch, and I'm just going to call it to her and tell her what I need to do. I do have a wireless controller for it, so I could use that, but rather than using the battery on that, Emma likes to run the winch, so we're going to let her do that. In.
He'll stay soft.
Okay, in. See it?
Yeah.
Alright. Nope, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. More. hold on, hold on. Moving this up onto the mill without all this stuff, trying to do this by hand, it's impossible. But with a little bit of creativity and a little bit of maneuvering and use of leverage and pulley and winch, my kids, I was able to get this up on. Normally I could actually do this a bit quicker, but I'm just trying to walk you through the process while I'm doing it. So. Hello friends, and welcome back. In this video I'm going to walk you through the process of how I take these logs over to the mill, load them up onto the mill, and get them ready for milling.